How many of you guys remember hearing Michael Jackson's Thriller for the very first time? I certainly do, because the first time that I heard it, I was 11 years old, it was 2002, and I actually got to listen to it on this very copy, on LP. So, mind you that in 2002, records were not cool, and they had not made their comeback yet. So it just so happened that this was all my parents had. And I sat on the couch in our living room and just listened to it all the way through, and I was completely blown away. But there is one song that affected me deeply, even as a young kid, and that is hands down Human Nature. This one on side 2. So this story has been told countless times, but since you guys are here, I'll just summarize it because it's a great story. Essentially what happened during the making of Thriller was that Quincy Jones, who was producing the record, solicited David Paich from the band Toto to write a couple of songs for Michael. So Quincy sent someone over to pick up a cassette tape from David, brought it back to the studio, he listened, I guess there was some silence or maybe the tape auto-reversed and flipped over, and all of a sudden, this came on. Amazing. I mean, the whole thing is there. The melody, the 16th notes in the percussion, the chord changes. Now this is a whole step down from what it ended up being. This is in the key of C major or A minor. I actually like it better. Here's the chorus. Wow. So imagine Quincy's reaction when he heard that. What I just played for you guys is Steve Porcaro's original demo of Human Nature. This was at the very end of that cassette that David Paich had sent to Quincy Jones, and it was a complete accident. And naturally, Quincy Jones flipped out and wanted to include this on Thriller. But let's just talk about this for a second. This is such a good demo. I mean, everything is there. The changes are there. A whole step below the version that we know and love, but you know what? It's more haunting. F to G, E flat major 7, D minor 7. There's just something about it. So the ideas were all there when Steve Porcaro made this demo, and I just find it to be incredibly beautiful. Now stick around, because in a minute I'm going to break down my instrumental recreation of the Human Nature track from Thriller and explain a couple of things to you guys. Understand that most of the elements from Steve Porcaro's demo that I played for you guys carried over to Thriller. I mean, the song was very, very complete, but when they finished recording it, there was something missing. And Quincy called none other than Steve Lukather and told him, hey, come in, we need you to put some glue on this song, we need for you to do something to just bring it all together and make it gel. And that was the beginning of the creation of one of the most iconic and beautiful guitar parts in history, which is really what this video is about. Okay, time to break this down together. So I took the liberty of recreating most of the instrumental tracks from the Thriller version of this song. However, there's one track that I did not make, and that is the percussion track. This I found on YouTube with a quick search, and it's pretty amazing. Check this out. I mean, that's perfect. The shaker just holds everything together, and we have that nice open snare, right? Nice open halftime groove, which just makes the song. Let's go to the bass part. This I recreated with a DX7 and some other plugin here in Logic. Yeah, so the verse is 2 chords, G, A. Right? It's very easy for that to get boring, but the bass part breaks it up beautifully. You have F sharp, and then you have eighth notes, E, F sharp, G, right? Leading up to the G chord. different rhythm on the fourth time for that E, F sharp, G. Bom, bom, bom. Those are dotted eighth notes, which give a nice little anticipation there. Each time they're going between those two chords in the verse, there's something different happening in the bass to break it up. It's brilliant and it keeps it from being boring. Okay, let's add the keyboards. As I mentioned before, this keyboard part is great because it sort of outlines the melody. So check it out. I personally love when keyboard parts outline the melody. Some people think it's a faux pas and you shouldn't do it. Totally disagree. Love it. Now, a pretty major trademark of the version that we know that we didn't get to hear in Steve Porcaro's demo is the intro line. This. Right? That was added much later, and in my opinion, it's an essential part of the song. Check this out. It just starts with like a sawtooth, plucky synth. And then you have a much more sustained layer happening about an octave or two above that comes in for the second half. If we listen to all of these parts that we just discussed, it's very nice. Yeah, it's missing something, and Quincy knew it. Here's what it's missing. There you go. There it is. That, my friends, is the magic of Steve Lukather. Here's why I think this is one of the greatest guitar parts on any pop song ever. Let's just break down what happens in the very first chord. I mean, the very first split second that you hear music. The chord is supposed to be G, right? Or G with an add 2 or add 9. But what Steve Lukather does is this. I mean, where does that come from? That's a B minor bar chord position on guitar. Like that, with a hammer on. Except he leaves out the root, so you're essentially getting this. It's an A major chord quickly kind of flamming into a D major triad. I mean, that's so beautiful. So you're kind of ending up with this G major 9 minus the third. I think that's amazing. And that little detail is what just smacks you in the face when you hear this song for the first time. I mean, right there. I don't know how he came up with that. And then just a little fill. And then the second time, instead of going for a dotted quarter, he holds it for a half note. 2, 1, 2. Brilliant, just for variation. And then, of course, the classic 80s. I mean, the magic of this is in all of the dead notes. So if I play the notes that you hear, like this, it sounds horrible. But if I lift my ring finger off of B, which is the note, and I allow the dead notes to exist so that something is being attacked on every 16th note, whether or not it's a note or just a dead stroke like that, you get this. Watch my left hand. My right hand never stops moving. That keeps going. And even though you don't hear it, you kind of do hear it and you feel it. And really good players like Steve can do that. I'm just a keyboard player, so I can sort of do it, but not really. This is the best part right here. That's my favorite moment in the entire track. Listen to this. He's going... It's so melodic and beautiful, and there's nothing like it happening in the track at that time. It just fills in the perfect amount of space. What he did there, the chord was E minor 7, and he chose A as the pedal point, and he's just descending down the D major scale, since the song is in D major, or B minor, same thing. Now getting into the chorus, the melody. Okay, but what is he doing before the melody? He's breaking up the chords. So the chords in the chorus are G and A, right? In this case, he made the G a little spicier by making it G major 7, and he split it in half. So he played the bottom two notes, G and B, the upper two notes, D and F sharp, and then came down to the upper two notes of A major, C sharp and E, to the bottom notes of A major, A and C sharp. So lower, upper, upper, lower. It's brilliant, and he splits them with a nice syncopated rhythm that doesn't appear anywhere else in the song at that time. After that, he outlines the melody, which is great, but he doesn't do it like that. He does this. Much better, with a bar that keeps that F sharp sustaining the whole time, so you get some tension here. Hear that? That kind of stuff makes a difference. Whether you notice it or not, it's there. Okay, let's keep listening. So, broken chords happen again. But now, okay, that line is important because the melody goes da-da-da, and Steve responded to that by going, I mean, that's perfect arranging. He's playing when Michael is not singing, and he's imitating his melody. Da-da-da-da. And I have to tell you guys, the mind-blowing thing about all of these details is probably the fact that Steve Lukather did this all the time on thousands of songs and thousands of records, and probably did it in one, maybe two takes by just using his arranger's ear. He had the ability, and still obviously has the ability, to sort of put himself away from his ego and look at the totality of the song, to listen to the bass, listen to the drums, listen to the synthesizers, the vocals, and think, what does the song need? What sort of part or glue in between the cracks is missing? What can I contribute? This is the best kind of session player. All of these crazy little details are the best part of being a musician. This is why I love music. This is the stuff that I look for in well-produced songs. So next time you guys are listening to this song, I hope that these details pop out to you. I hope that you get what I'm saying and don't think I'm just crazy for gushing over a guitar part. These little things, whether you don't hear them or whether you maybe just feel them, they make such a huge difference. So guys, that's my breakdown of Human Nature and how Steve Lukather made it such an amazing song with his simple yet effective guitar part. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you all very soon in the next one.